Yeah, let's read some stories.
Hello, everybody. We are here, and look at all these wonderful, aspiring, bright, and shining avatars. Let's welcome to Irwin Tang. Irwin, is that Irwin? Right?
Hey, yeah. Yeah, it's me, Irwin Tang. Yeah. I met you at the Austin Comic Con.
Yes, I do. I do go to a fair number of cons, particularly the local ones. And I consider like Austin, Houston local to me, but anyway. And you brought in some pages, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, let's start with John's script, just so you can see how this thing goes. So, all right, John, tell us about Spirit of the Dragon.
All right, so does anybody remember when I brought in the first half of issue 4 like a million years ago?
Absolutely not.
I remember there was a train. For that matter, let's go ahead and talk a minute about your cover, because this is the cover of issue 2, I think, right? They posted to Discord. So open that up. Let's see.
Talking about Angel of Darkness?
Oh yeah. Is this? Yeah, I believe so. Hold on.
Angel of Darkness is one with the train. I haven't seen a train yet in Spirit of the Dragon.
There isn't a train.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm all confused. Okay.
That's what happens when you run two different stories at the same time.
Spirit of the Dragon is the one with the ninja schoolgirl fighting Nazis.
Of course. How could I forget?
I mean, I only just lettered issue 2 like this week, so that's why I remember. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Don't feel bad.
I did want to comment that the cover you posted in my Discord for Angel of Darkness 2 had neither
Angel
train.
of Darkness 3.
Oh, that was okay. So Angel. All right. There was still there was
2 came out like 2 months ago.
See, look at that. You're moving too fast for me. Too fast. How am I supposed to keep track of all these Angel of Darknesses? But there was neither a train nor zombies on the cover. There was
neither train nor zombies on that cover.
No train nor zombies on your zombies. We took snakes on a train, and then you give me a cover that has no hint of zombies or trains. Like, okay.
So it just do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I just had this idea.
Boobs. It was just pure boobs. So all right.
I had this idea for a cover, and I told my artist to go for it. So he did it, and I liked the way that it turned out.
Okay. The go for it cover.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay. Let's see. So, okay, Angel of Darkness. So this is script 4 we're looking at, or the script for issue 4, second half.
So the script that I posted like 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Which I believe we're doing is Spirit of the Dragon issue 4.
Issue 4.
The last half.
Okay.
Of issue 4. Because we did the first half of issue 4.
And there was like
6 months ago.
There was Mecca.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So what happened in the first 10 pages is we spent about 6 or 7 pages doing kind of a backstory on Julia and what happened with her father. So basically, and then we had kind of a flashback combination scene.
Mm-hmm. But
basically, we learned that Julia's father was an accountant working for Orion Industries, for Malcolm Orion, and he found anomalies in their books, and that the company was basically taking money from the Nazis to stay afloat during the Great Depression.
Okay.
So when he reported that, they found out, and they had him killed.
Well, why would that even be illegal?
That's a really good question.
I hope I didn't just
that is a good
flaw in the story.
Oops! Major plot hole. Nobody really cared about that crap back in the 20s.
Yeah. Back in the 30s, they would have gone, well, how forward thinking of them. How very progressive.
And it's not like America was particularly progressive at the time.
I mean, kind of. We were experimenting around with... I mean, during the 30s, we were doing a lot of stuff where we were trying to get the United States out of the Great Depression. FDR came in 32, but prior to that, Hoover was maligned for having a very hands-off attitude. But the truth is, he was also, there's a reason why they call it Hoover Dam. He was also very much involved with public work projects and so on. So we were taking a lot of steps that we as a nation had never taken before. Previously, economic downturns were viewed as not the purview of the government. That was just private business doing its thing. But now the government was taking a very active role. And the idea was that this economics was all science stuff, and that we could do things and change interest rates and have the government spend money on public works programs, and that this was all going to change how we understood the relationship between essentially the government and economics, and that economic downturns would be a thing of the past. So
That's
yeah. So we were very progressive minded at the time, and right up until World War II came along, and then the war came along. So, but anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, that's my giant gaping plot hole.
Okay.
And so anyway,
modernly we would go, oh my God, they took money from the Nazis, but in the 1930s they would be like, oh cool, good on you. Hitler's doing great things over there, so it is what it is.
Anyway,
okay.
So that was basically the first 6 or 7 pages, and
Okay.
then we basically, the last few pages was basically finishing up building the mech suit, and then the army arrived to arrest
The army. Okay.
Orion and Temperance, and then Temperance put on the mech suit and went out and basically shot them all up. And
Okay.
this is
She's
kind
being
of-
arrested for taking money from the Nazis. right, fair
whatever.
enough, fair enough. Okay,
Ignore the
all
plot hole.
Okay.
We're-
All right.
We're gonna cement that. We're gonna cement that hole over with modern sensibilities.
Who cares? Exactly.
I got girls in midi skirts. Come on, who cares?
Yes, no, exactly. At some point, like, why does it even matter? Okay, so page 11. We're opening up. So last time, like, Temperance had the mech suit on. She had to.
She had
remove
the
a
mech
lot of
suit on, and
clothes
she
to
was
get into it because it had like, I see. I remember these plot details. Like, that she was having some
See,
kind of interface.
that's the plot
right.
details that I want you to remember.
Totally ridiculous, like tits out mech suit scene. With the
Yeah.
gun.
It
Yes,
was like, I have
absolutely.
to strip almost completely naked in order to really operate this mech. I was like, okay, sounds good.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad that you didn't go for a more elegant way to implement that, because like that would have made it worse.
There you
No,
go.
that's the whole point. This whole character is centered
Look,
around
honestly,
this idea.
you should maybe consider borrowing something from BattleTech, which I've played a fair amount of. And in BattleTech, like the board game, and then they did all these novels and stuff, but it started with a board game. And in the board game, heat was a big issue. And the question was like, do you want to fire all your weapons? Because if you fire all your weapons, your mech's going to get real hot. And so the question was, how do you want to economize your heat? And if you in the rules, if your mech got too hot, like your pilot would start taking damage and whatnot. So when they started doing novelizations on the thing, the pilots were always like stripped down very little because it was going to get hot once combat started. So you can, if you want, you can borrow that.
That's kind of what I do.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, basically which is actually going to be explained right here. She's going to explain it.
Okay.
But basically, there's an electromagnetic repulsion field that surrounds the mech suit, and it repels bullets.
That is yeah, okay. Oh,
And
I thought you said that is really repellent to clothing. And just like clothing.
No, well,
go.
see,
Okay.
it requires that the pilot can't wear any metal.
Okay, there you go. And she was wearing a lot of metal and shirts and jeans. Okay, let's do this.
Yep,
Page
basically.
11. Who's narrating?
Hey, underwire bras. Come on,
Of
they got
course.
metal in them.
Of course, yes.
The underwater.
Underwire dwarves didn't exist in the 30s.
Whatever.
Okay.
Danny, why don't you narrate?
Damn it! All right.
Did you not want to? I can press
No,
you
we're doing
narrate.
it. We're doing it. I'm just getting it out of the way.
We'll do it live.
Page 11. Exterior Orion Robotics. Night. The army men rise up, return fire. Some fire pistols, other rifles. No copy. Panel 2. Temperance grins as the bullets are caught in a blue magnetic force field. They appear to hover, making ripples in the air.
Who's Temperance, John?
Why don't you do that?
Do you like the way my electromagnetic repulsion shield works? It's my design.
Panel 3. Close up, the fusion core temperature gauge sits in the low yellow area. Panel 4. Temperance raises her left arm. The CO2 canister hisses, firing a 45 centimeter long aluminium spike. Hiss. Spunk.
I don't know how much we care, but compressed air is not like, there's a reason why we don't really use like that. That's like pellet gun, and pellet gun in comparison to gunpowder powered projectile is dramatically less forceful. Just if you care about that kind of stuff.
I was thinking of a steampunk railgun.
Oh, okay, but you went with compressed air. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Panel
look,
5.
I've steampunk. I know there's a steampunk aesthetics, and I look at steampunk physics, and cool.
Not
awesome.
very practical. I know.
It's not very practical.
But that was what I was going for.
All right.
Panel 5. The spike punches through the side of the Jeep that exists, piercing one of the army men through the chest, causing his chest to explode in
Oh
bone.
no!
All right. Panel 6. Another spike hits an army man, pinning him to the engine block of his Jeep.
Oh no!
Coughs blood.
People are dying, John.
12. Same location. Panel 1. Temperance stands shrouded in the light blue aura. The bullets hover around her. The army men shooting their M1 automatic rifles her. Panel 2. Temperance throws her arms out to the side, sending all the captured bullets out in all directions.
Muha.
Panel 3. Close up. The fusion core temp gauge spikes to red.
Uh-oh.
Panel 4. The bullets rip through several of the army men. The force of the impact knocks them back like a bow.
Yeah,
That's not how you spell knocks.
that is not how you spell knock.
Use a bullet time effect to show the path of the bullets. Panel 5. Close up. The fusion core temperature gauge hovers in the middle of the yellow. Panel 6. Exterior Orion Robotics. Also the same location. Never mind. Gantz lays on the ground. Bullet wounds in his chest. Blood pools. He holds the EE8 field telephone to his ear. Coughs blood.
Erwin, why don't you do the operator?
Operator.
Actually, I think that's the only line. But...
Excellent work. Excellent.
That's fine. Oh crap. The weapon cough is active. I repeat, the weapon is active.
Page 13. Panel 1. Gantz's point of view. Temperance stands over us looking down in a power pose. Her left arm is forward. The aluminum spike is loaded in the chamber.
Get General Oliver to...
Panel 2. Foreground. We can see the CO2 canister wired into the chamber. Okay, background, we see Temperance's left hand pull the trigger. Hiss, spunk. Panel 3. Same location. Temperance stands in the middle of the factory floor. Technicians stand around her. Some examine the suit. Some reload the Gatling gun.
Reload! Gregory, gather some men and bring the heavy truck around.
Erwin, why don't you do Gregory? I think he's got a few lines here.
Yes, ma'am.
The performance has far exceeded our expectations.
You'll need a more efficient cooling system for long-term use, but as is, it is adequate.
Panel 4. Same location. Temperance climbs onto the flatbed of the Dodge Brothers heavy truck. Orion follows behind her.
I do want to point out here, you're writing Temperance, but really the artist would be drawing this big clunky suit, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because if your artist comes back and does what you wrote and writes and draws Temperance, then you're going to say, no, that's not right.
Okay. Good point.
I do wish when John wrote scripts for native speakers.
Yeah.
They were much more fun to read the direction of.
There we go. Who's Orion?
Tempe, where are you going? We need to power down and prepare for shipment.
I will meet you at the port.
Page 14. Panel 1, interior Langhouse kitchen night. Close up, the kitchen phone rings. No copy. Where are the sound effects, John? Write the sound effects, John.
Well, that's so I can remind you. Oh, we need sound effects on that panel.
No, just write SFX, ring ring. Panel 2, Julia stands by the doorway between the kitchen and dining room, holding the phone to her ear.
Agent Longfu, this is operator. You're to report to HQ immediately.
Panel 3, interior Langhouse, living room, night. Julia returns to the living room, where Jacob and Megan sit on the couch in a family embrace.
Aww.
Are they pulling the family, or are they just having a hug? I'm very confused.
They're just crying. It's follow up from the previous section.
Sure. Okay.
Let's see. Erwin, why don't you do Julia?
I'm sorry, but I need to leave.
Miss Julia.
She just shows right up. That's awesome.
She does.
Panel 4, exterior Langhouse night. Temperance and Grigori stand by the Dodge Brothers heavy truck, half parked on the street, half on the yard.
I hear you've been a naughty girl.
Sure. Panel 5, interior Langhouse living room. Julia, Jacob, and Megan stand side by side, looking out the window.
What the hell is that?
Nazi super weapon.
Does her mother know she's walking around wearing that?
Page 15, panel 1, exterior Langhouse night. Temperance raises her right hand. The Gatling gun winds up. Use motion lines on the chain.
Sounds like detention for you.
Panel 2, interior Langhouse living room. Julia dives to the ground, pulling Jacob and Megan with her.
Get down.
Panel 3. A storm of 5mm rounds explodes through the window.
Wait, hold it. 5mm rounds? It's not like the artist is going to draw the rounds any differently, but I've never heard of 5mm rounds. Just FYI. All right, go ahead.
Glass shatters. Bullets penetrate the walls, sending plaster dust flying through the air. Julia, Megan, and Jacob lay huddled on the floor together as the bullets whiz overhead.
This is my fight, Mr. Lang. I want you to take Megan and get her out of here.
I'm not going to leave you here alone.
Yes, you are.
Panel 4. Jacob holds his car keys out to Megan.
Megan, take my truck and get help.
Okay, this page keeps going. Panel 5. Megan and Julia give Jacob a confused expression.
Mr. Lang, it's the 1930s. Women don't drive.
Panel 6. Julia, Megan, and Jacob continue laying face down as the bullets and chaos hovers just above their heads. John, you asked me about something about dialogue earlier today. This panel is
yes.
that.
Yeah, it probably needs to be more than one page.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this whole scene needed to be cut short by Temperance and Mech-Suit busting through the wall, shouting out, "Oh yeah!"
I am shocked that nobody has done that yet.
Well, I could try that.
Anyway, but back to our scene. Who's Jacob?
Oh yeah, I was doing that. Damn, fine, Megan. Tomorrow I'm teaching you how to drive. And Patty's dad taught her how to drive only so she could go and get him beer when he was too drunk to drive himself. Well, I'm going to teach you how to drive so you can move about the city independent of me or anyone else.
That's nice and all, but can we have this conversation about women's liberation when we're not under threat of death?
Page 16, panel 1, exterior leg house. Temperance stops firing the Gatling gun.
Gregory, be a dear and reload me.
Yeah, she totally should have just crashed through the wall there.
Yeah, just
Panel
yeah.
Interior leg house, living room. Julia looks out the window. Man, Temperance totally should have gone through the wall.
Oh, go now. While she's reloading.
Panel 3, exterior leg house. Julia charges across the front yard at Temperance. Okay. Gregory stands on the bed of the heavy truck, reloading the case of 5mm rounds into the ammo chamber on the back of the mech suit. Blah, 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 blah. That should have already been explained to the illustrator before you drew the back in issue 1 or wherever. Temperance raises her left hand. The CO2 canister ejects gas, firing aluminum spike, hiss, spunk. Do you seriously want that to be your sound effect? Because I'll do it.
Spunk.
I will do it. Don't test me. I will totally do that. It's as written.
There you go.
Panel
What's
4,
wrong with it being as written?
There you go.
Absolutely nothing. Just so you know, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Panel 4, Julia backflips in the air. The spike flies over her. Panel 5, Julia lands on her feet, getting ready to attack. Temperance fires another aluminum spike.
It's spunk.
Page 17, exterior leg house, night. Panel 1, Julia leaps up into the air, flipping over the spike, letting it pass underneath. Again. No copy. Panel 2, Julia
but probably like a panty flash here, right?
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you probably need to write these things in so the artist knows. I don't know. Or
2,
not, whatever.
I mean, the artist will probably do it anyways.
Okay, there we go.
Or whatever. That's a John problem.
I mean, like having seen issue 1, I'm like, it's her panties are always flashing. So
I mean, you get more of that than like whole body.
yeah.
So yeah. Panel 2, Julia drop kicks Temperance, which has no effect on her. Temperance stares at her quizzically. Quizzically?
All right. So I like if I'm the artist, I'm not exactly sure what you want me to write here because Temperance is in a mech suit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is Temperance's face visible while she's
Her body's visible.
Oh, so this is like aliens. Like aliens with the
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Basically like that, except it has hands.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Okay.
I just lettered a page where there's a long rant about how it should have thumbs.
There you go. You're going to have to do better than that.
Panel 3, Julia falls flat on her back. Thump.
That did not go how I saw it in my head.
Panel 4, Julia's point of view. Temperance raises her foot. The mech's boot raises, ready to stomp on Julia. Julia back rolls out of the way, somehow from her own point of view.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Panel 5, Temperance stomps on the ground where Julia once was. Stomp. I'm narrating. I get to read the sound effects.
I get so excited with the sound effects.
Gregory finishes hooking the chain-fed ammo into the Gatling. She's just standing there stomping.
Wait a minute. Yeah, like how has he been able
this is
to?
A terrible action scene. One of the characters isn't even moving.
I don't. All right. Okay. Or unless he's like writing on her back like Master Blaster, like while he's fiddling with the Gatling gun with this big massive case of ammo.
That would be awesome. You should totally make your illustrator do that.
There you go.
I can do that.
We need a Gregory.
Temperance.
Let's see if you can dodge this for science.
Page 18, panel 1, same location. Jacob sits behind the wheel of his truck. Megan sits in the passenger seat behind him. Jacob slams his fist on the door, ignoring the action scene happening beside the house.
Julia, let's go.
Panel 2. Jacob turns the truck out of the driveway and onto the street. Julia leaps onto the bed of the truck. Temperance runs after them at full speed. Wait, what? Okay. Panel 3. Interior.
I'm a little confused, but yeah.
The Dodge. Is that the truck is that a different truck?
It's a different car.
Interior, a different car. The glass window between the cab and the bed of the truck is open. Julia kneels down close to Megan and Jacob.
She's gaining.
I got your bag. I wasn't sure if it had the spy stuff you might need.
Wasn't Julia fighting a giant robot on the last page?
Yes.
She was. Now they're trying to
Now
escape.
she's in a car.
Yes.
Okay,
The story moves fast. You have to keep up.
evidently. Julia, smiling at Megan, takes a 20 centimeter rod out of her backpack.
I could just kiss you.
Panel 5. Megan smiles, blushing, grabs Julia by the shirt collar, pulls her in, kisses her.
This is very
That's a lot of verbs.
this is very LGBTQ friendly. So thank you for your extra inclusivity points.
That's a lot of verbs for an illustrator to draw in one panel.
Blushing.
That is, yeah. That I feel like that could be 2 panels. Because we got her smiling, we got her blushing, we got her grabbing, and we got her kissing. I mean,
And pulling in. So,
yeah,
that's at least 2 panels.
yeah.
Panel 6, Julia and Megan smile at each other, both blushing. Aww.
Aw.
For luck, but I don't think you'll need it.
Page 19. Exterior, that same other car. Julia stands facing Temperance in a semi-crouch, ready to pounce power pose, holding the 20 centimeter rod in her right hand. Panel 2, Julia jerks her wrist, which is sort of undrawable. The ends of the 20 centimeter rod extend. Panel 3, Julia now holds a 120 centimeter staff in her hand.
Haha.
Panel 4, Julia leaps from the back of the truck at Temperance. She raises the staff with both hands. No copy on the whole page.
You could have given us like a flick as her collapsible baton extends.
I will
Okay.
defeat you with my totally
Yes.
timely carbon fiber rod of doom.
There we go.
Page 20, panel 1, exterior street night. There are no longer any cars in this scene. Temperance reaches up, grabs the staff, and is about to strike her head. Panel 2, large panel. Temperance, gripping the end of the staff with one hand, spins around in a circle. Julia grips the other end of the staff with both hands. Her legs hang out, held up by the circular momentum. In a carnival ride from hell. Oh no! So Hulk is smashing. Okay.
See, I knew putting thumbs on this thing was a good idea.
That was a good callback. Go, John. I literally just wrote the page, lettered the page with thumbs. Talking about the thumbs. Panel 3, the staff slips from Julia's hands, sending her flying into the air. Oh my God, to Santa Monica Beach. Let's go. Panel 4, Julia lands on Santa Monica Beach, out of breath. In the background, Temperance walks towards her. Pant, pant. Panel 5, exterior, some other house, night. Jacob's truck is now parked in front of Vasquez's house. The door is open. Megan sits in the passenger seat, reluctant, tearful. Jacob is serious, determined. Mr. and Mrs. Vasquez stand on the front porch in the background, the light illuminating them.
I need you to call Captain Hicks and get them to send whoever they can round up.
I'm not leaving
I'm
you.
I'm going to go help Julia, and you can help her too by getting Captain Hicks to send help.
Interior, the Dodge, whatever. Jacob leans forward, kissing her on the forehead.
Now go.
Dun dun dun.
All right. Well, let's see. We got steampunk mecha, some steampunk mecha versus schoolgirls, and a teenage kissing. So there we go. I mean, this is everything I would ever want from a story. So you have met my expectations for my booby mecha comic. Excellent.
Who are the main characters that we've been following for the first 3 issues?
Mostly Julia and Temperance.
Our hero and villain.
Yes. Megan's been kind of a side character that's been there since the beginning.
And they're both teenage girls at the same school or something, or
Yes. Megan and Julia are both teenage girls at the same school.
okay. And they hate each other because what?
No, they're
No.
friends.
They're the ones who were kissing.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about Temperance?
Temperance is
Uh,
the naughty school teacher.
She's the naughty school teacher, supervillain, who basically found out that her father was killed by, more or less, her father was killed. Okay, so in issue 3, her father is killed when they go to kill Julia's dad. So she believes that Julia is related to her father being killed.
All right, Danny, what did you like about this?
There was definitely a giant robot that was wrecking some shit.
There was.
There was very nearly a, exposition in the car moment that was pretty good. There was a couple of cute moments where we said "aw" and that were fun. And there's a beach. So maybe the next page is actually, a totally awesome fight on a beach. There might be surfers or a shark. I hope there's a shark.
Erwin, tell us what you liked about this.
I think it was not as effective for me because I didn't know what was leading up to this or what was going on with the characters. But I do tend to like the relationship stories in these comic book action stories. And so yeah, I was interested in Megan and Julia's relationship and just what it meant for them to kiss, I guess, for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, and what their anxieties and hopes were regarding all of that. What was the what's all the stuff
I don't know.
going
I
on
kind of
around
threw it
that
in at
now?
the last minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what, did you like anything else, or was that it? We were big on the Julia.
There was something funny in there that I can't remember. I can't remember the line though. My memory's not that great, as good as it used to be. But
did you like it when Temperance burst through the wall on Shadow? Oh yeah.
That is my generation. I do remember those commercials.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's discuss some areas where we could improve. All right. So this is kind of our big showdown, right? We've been building to this. The whole story has been building to a showdown between Temperance and Julia.
Yes.
Right. Okay. First off, I got to go like logically, and I know that we're trying to leave logic behind, and logic is the evil of having fun. But I mean, okay, so she's got a magnetic field, but if she's in this big hulky unit, and Julia's a pretty darn good martial artist, I feel like Julia could just pick up a rock and just zing her in the head, and that would be the end of the fight. Because how's she going to really dodge in this big metal contraption? So I do think about that. Yeah, I want this fight to be bigger because this is the showdown between, like the whole story is kind of ridiculous. So I think you should just embrace that and just that's why I think like, oh yeah, it would be kind of a cool moment. To me, it depletes any sense of urgency or, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next in this big fight between Temperance and Julia when Julia's taken a page to go kiss her girlfriend for the first time? Like how serious could it be if your thought isn't, what am I going to do to survive for the next 5 minutes? And instead of, I've really haven't had an opportunity to confess my love to this other person. So I feel like maybe don't shoehorn that into the middle of the big fight scene, which I would like to be bigger and more absurd. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm not super happy with it either. It just kind of, I felt it in the moment when I was writing the scene, so I put it in. But
Okay.
I don't disagree that it does feel a little out of place. Yeah. So
Speaking about things being out of place, and jumping off of Preston's point, you have what should be a very tense, interesting battle scene, and you have pages where there's like 5 panels of no copy, and also a house is being shot up with what's supposed to be a very big panel in the middle, and then an essay at page 6, or in panel 6, followed by like what? Julia is attacking a robot and is repelled by a magnetic field for some reason, while the robot just stands there, and then in the next panel, everyone's in a fucking car, and then they're at someone else's house, and then they're on a beach, and like, what is happening? And none of those things are like seem like a huge threat because the robot's just standing there reloading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why are the police officer and his daughter not fighting back or running for their lives? I mean, they're sort of running for their lives, but dude's waiting in a car, so not really running. And then he like leaves past the giant robot, which is exactly the wrong direction to go if one has a choice. It's nowhere near as dramatic as going through other people's backyards anyways. I don't know why you would do that. And yeah, like, Temperance isn't explaining what she's not like, ha ha ha, you cannot defeat me due to my force field. Like, tell us what is happening. Because you need to explain what the strange special effect is and how it's preventing our hero from just punching this bitch until she stops.
Right.
Right? And like, and then like there's all this repetition of like, she dodges a spike. Now she dodges another spike. Well, cool. Okay, is she just standing there dodging spikes? Like, what is happening? Give us the wide shot. What is her goal aside from not getting killed? And why is she just standing there dodging spikes instead of doing something about the bitch throwing spikes at her? Like, so I think if we edit this to like be more efficient, it'll let the big action moments breathe. And I think you can integrate some of the dialogue that you put in that you really like into this destruction that Preston wants and that seems like it's about to happen, but continually never does. Right? Like, oh, here's a kiss for good luck, go blow up the robot, totally works. Whereas here's a kiss for good luck, I'm gonna run away now with the other adult in this with the adult in this room, and just like exit stage left is less dramatic, right? Like, if both characters are fearing for their lives imminently, I feel like that's more effective to have that be a big emotional moment. So yeah, that stuff that just the pacing was really off.
All right. Erwin, did you have any insights on how the story might be improved?
Well, from what I've heard, I mean, I think that there is a story, behind the story, right? There's always, I think, what makes an action scene interesting is the other stories that are going on within what's at stake and what they're really struggling for. And you have what's her name, Temperance. She's got a reason to be mad and want to kill Julia, right? Because Julia killed her
Temperance is
father.
under the exactly, yes.
Yeah, and why is that? I mean, that story could be expressed in the action film. You killed my father.
Prepare to die.
He was the only person that I ever loved in this world. The only person who cared for me. And now I've got this stupid robot. That's all I have left. I don't know what is the personal story with Temperance. And for Julia, I feel like I don't know what it is. I don't know what the more personal aspect of her story is on the line or being played out here in this final scene of your story, I guess. I guess what came to my mind was, like, just as an example, I was thinking of Peter Parker in was it No Way Home? And I mean, he's battling whatever it was. I can't remember who he was fighting in the final scene, Mysterio or something like that. But in the background, there's this struggle between, for him, of whether he wants to be a normal young man, a normal boy, or be this superhero and perhaps lose everything that comes with being a normal person, like MJ and stuff. And that ultimately, gets played out after, I guess, the final battle with Mysterio and such. But of course, that was the most heart tearing up part of the story. So that's it.
All right.
All right. And anything else, or okay, we can move on to, let's see, what do we want to do? Do we want to do chromatic Beetlejuice algorithm, or we also have a script from Irvin? Is it Irvin or
Irwin?
Irwin. Okay, Irwin. We also have
we
a
should
script from
definitely read
Irwin.
Irwin's thing
Okay.
because he bothered to show up.
I was
Although
suggesting we don't.
I did hear the notes about chromatic Beetlejuice, in the sense that, I read the on the Discord.
Yeah.
The creator said that he reviewed the Scream a couple times and made a bunch of changes based on that.
Yeah.
And it's been so long, whether or not we remember the story up until now will be interesting. But I'm pretty sure it was like an intro to a story arc, so that should be pretty doable.
All right. So, Irwin, if we read, we're going to read your script and we're going to read chromatic Beetlejuice algorithm. Which one should we read next?
Read my script next.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Now I
You
don't
never
want
know
you to,
things.
all right. I don't want you to get sensitive. This is like first. I know writers get a little. Sometimes their work. They're like, oh, this is my baby, and we're just here to make it better. That's all we want to do.
Yeah. No, I've been told in the past, you got to do a page one rewrite. This sucks. Everything. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not concerned. I will take what I think is useful, and I will ignore the rest.
That's what Bruce Lee said to do. All right, so tell us about Entangled.
Entangled is a sci-fi twisted romance screenplay that I wish to convert into a graphic novel or comic book miniseries or whatnot. It is about two flawed and somewhat cracked up individuals who meet and while discovering an 8-ball.
Yes.
That apparently changes the past.
Oh wow.
So is
this an 8-ball of Coke, or is this like an 8-ball on a pool table?
I'm gonna assume. No, I thought it was like a magic 8-ball that you turn up.
Well, we will find out.
Okay. Oh, like a billiards ball.
We will find out soon enough. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay. That's
okay.
Differently fun.
All right. Who would you like to narrate?
Let's was it Danny?
John, Danny, and
Danny.
myself.
Yeah, I'm looking at the names. I'm old, man. I gotta get in the right range to read stuff. Danny, you did a great job narrating that.
Sure, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
And Porchenko, Preston, you want to be Porchenko?
I would adore being Porchenko.
And let me think. Who wants to play female? Anyone? There's
I'll
not
do
much
it.
people
Whatever.
Okay, okay, John. And I guess I'll do the rest of the characters. I'll do Jay Lee, who's the other main character, and I think oh, John. You can be Mr. Lee, the father
Okay.
of Jay Lee, and let me see. Preston. Preston, can you be
So
May?
as the voices come up, you can assign them. We don't need to get too far.
Yeah, Preston, you can be May Lee. That's pretty much all of them.
So I'm May and Porchenko.
May and Porchenko. They don't meet.
Okay.
And John is Anna and Mr. Lee. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll be everyone else.
All right, Danny.
Interior, Russian Orthodox Church. Night. Porchenko, a young Orthodox priest, kneels before the cross, whispering a prayer. The church is almost empty. Porchenko turns to see immigrant Anna at 6. She looks at him innocently.
Welcome to Chicago, my dear.
Anna at 6 smiles at him, speaks in Russian.
Sasiba.
Porchenko starts closing shop. Whatever that means, it's in scare quotes.
Maybe we will see you on Sunday. The day is done here.
Anna nods and says one final prayer to God. She leaves. Porchenko locks the doors behind her. He turns around and is surprised to see the senior priest before him.
You are the steward of this church now, Porchenko.
Silence.
Yes. You have something to say?
I will pray for you.
In these times, pray for humanity.
The senior priest leaves. Gunshots echo
Oh,
from
no.
the streets. Yo.
Oh no.
Gang stash.
It is getting serious. All right.
Interior, priest chambers, night. The room is lined with images of biblical apocalypses. Of biblical apocalypse. There we go. Curie, Bohr, Einstein, mushroom clouds, a diagram of the double slit delayed response experiment, garden of earthly delights. Porchenko undresses. A ticking sound can be heard.
If it were just war and famine, fine. The spiritual apocalypse roars.
Porchenko notices the ticking as it gets louder. He walks towards the sound, down some stairs into the underground hallways, which constitute a labyrinth beneath the church. He walks nervously through a maze of hallways until he locates a door to which he puts his ear. He opens the door.
That ticking went a long way.
Interior, the room beyond time.
Wow.
And night. But how can we tell? Because it's beyond time.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
All right.
And the ticking stops. He enters. Good use of semicolon there. Stares at the clock on the wall. The traditional clock that says 8 o'clock. Okay. He looks at his watch. It says 7:59.
You wanted to know how. Well, that's how we know.
I'm trying to figure out what he means by traditional clock.
All right.
Like a sundial?
Oh.
No, I think he means a tick, 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 tick clock.
Or maybe like a pendulum.
With the arms.
Okay.
Not digital.
I mean, there's a lot of non-digital clocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Porchenko tries to take. The clock's on a wall. Okay. Porchenko tries to take the clock off the wall, and he can't. Tries to move the hands of the clock. He can't. He yanks one of the arms, cutting his hand.
Whoops.
He looks down at his watch. It says 7:58. He looks up at the clock, then back in his watch. Now the clock on the wall says 8:01.
No, not at his watch. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be 8:01 on his watch.
Okay.
That's confusing.
That is confusing because it started off as saying 7:59. So I thought time was going backward on his watch, but now it's going forward. So you confused me.
It went backwards and now it's gone forward. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He shakes his head. He examines the room. It's a girl's room. Beyond time. A Russian nesting doll sits on the trunk underneath the clock. Opposite the trunk is a twin bed with headboard and nightstand, atop of which sits a framed painting of a teenage girl. Porchenko picks up the painting of Anna at 16. He's mesmerized. Porchenko.
Mary.
Interior. Kasparov.
I was
home,
mesmerized. All right.
Day. Okay, fine. That was good acting. Well done, Preston.
Thank you.
Anna at 6 makes demands of her father, Kasparov, a robust figure with a Ukrainian accent as he drops onions.
Tato,
Yes, little one.
I only weigh 20 kilos right now.
Ooh.
Yes, dear.
Take me to a rocket. I can make it to the space station utilizing only 10 tons of fuel. 10 years from now, it will require multiple of that.
She flashes a figure on her calculator.
Yes, let's go to the rocket.
Immediately, I still have chance to break the light barrier.
Kasparov glances at a photograph of Albert Einstein posing with a woman and a girl.
The light barrier, my girl.
To go faster than speed of light, are you Durak?
If I were Durak, would we have escaped Crimea and the KGB?
So is Anna at 6 age 6? Because I'm thinking she's age 6 and she's very intelligent for age 6.
Yes, she's
Yes.
age 6. Yes.
Okay.
I thought it was a
She's-
science
she's very
fiction that was
intelligent.
super cool. You tricked me.
What's that?
I thought it was a super cool science fiction name.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, okay. My
Like
bad.
Well, when I saw Anna at 16, I'm like, okay, that's the character at 16. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
now I'm like, Anna at 6 is really, really smart. Like, she's not talking like a 6-year-old.
Well, I've been
He does live in a
watching.
room beyond time, dude.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, I've been watching Umbrella
Academy?
and they got a time traveler, but he's a young boy, but he's like ridiculously smart because he's got the knowledge of all the different lifetimes he's played out in his little noggin. Anyway,
There you go.
there you go.
Interior, Lee home in Chicago, night. Mr. Lee, a working class Chinese, reads Goodnight Moon to his son. Jay at 6, curious but existentially anxious. Jay's sassy twin sister, May at 6, snores loudly on the other bed.
Good night, room.
Haba.
Good night, moon.
Jay waves his arms. His father looks at him.
And red balloon. I used to read that one.
What if it's all a simulation?
My God, children at 6 are watching The Matrix. What have you
It's
done?
time to go to sleep, Jay.
Sometimes I feel like I'm watching myself on television. What if it's all just a feedback loop?
I make donuts, Jay. I don't know what you're talking about. I like that line.
That's a good line.
Baba, can you take me to a gun range? I want to shoot a bazooka.
Mr. Lee pats Jay on the head and leaves. May at 6 stirs.
Are we in a rerun? Haven't we already seen this show?
Then change the channel then, or just turn off the TV.
May snores loudly. Growing up montage. Jay at 6 and May at 6 play with a laser at a school lab. Anna at 6 studying physics at the church after school. Porchenko points out some things in her work. Jay, May, and Anna pass each other on the street. Who's May? Whatever. Kasparov works sanitation. Mr. Lee works at a bakery. Mrs. Lee works at a textiles sweatshop. Hold on. They've got faster than light travel and they still have sweatshops?
Yes.
They don't have faster than light travel.
Okay.
All right.
Interior, Lee home in Chicago. Day. Jay at 12 with a bowl haircut. Sets up a double slit experiment with a laser in a box, one slit open. The laser produces a single bar of light at the far side of the box.
So good.
Mr. Lee lectures May at 12 with Hello Kitty barrettes.
We expect you to do better than the other students. That's your job right now. Your responsibility.
No.
Jay opens the other slit in the double slit box. The single light bar turns into an interference pattern of light.
Do you know what responsibility is?
Yes.
Are you is it shrinking or shirking? I don't know.
Shirking.
Shirking. Your responsibility to this family?
Yes.
Jay turns to look at May. His father slaps May. May
Ow.
bolts past Jay and toward the front door. Jay chases after her.
Wait, dumb butt. Responsibility is just a word early farmers invented to keep themselves working. Dad's just old.
May looks at Jay, punches him in the belly. Interior Orthodox Church Library night. Porchenko watches Anna at 12, fashionable but still naive, as she works a physics problem.
Oh yeah, that's right. And if you assume that the speed of light is constant, you see the time
Is relative, slowing down at higher speeds, and according to Einstein's equations, time also goes backwards.
I want to say on a technical note, Einstein did not predict time going backwards, but I mean for the story it's fine. I just want to say though, just in case you were wondering. Yes, but that would require some very peculiar forms of matter that I happen to have access to.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Secret science labs underneath Orthodox Church basements. I love this. Anna at 12 is curious. Yeah. Interior, labyrinth beneath the church. Night. Anna at 12 follows the priest through the oddly lit hallways, whose walls featured both saints and scientists. Porchenko tries to take hold of her hand, but she pulls it away. Interior, the room beyond time. Night.
Still at night.
How can you tell?
'Cause it
Porchenko
says so.
enters the room and immediately picks up a seemingly rigged up particle detector. Sure. And at 12 watches as he points the instrument at the clock. Nothing happens.
What's going on? This clock emits tachyons. It's
Porchenko accidentally points the instrument at Anna. The readings go off the chart. Porchenko gasps. Anna studies a painting of herself at 16 years of age. He sees the match.
Einstein and God both agree on one thing. Destiny.
Destiny is destiny, dude.
Porchenko takes Anna's hands enthralled.
I was not expecting that response.
Interior, Jay and May's bedroom. Night. Jay at 12 is reading the final page of Samuel Beckett's The Unnameable, while May at 12 is texting her friends. Mr. Lee peeks into the room and May closes her eyes and snores. Jay puts the book down and looks at his father.
Good night, Moon. Good night, little house.
Mr. Lee closes the door. Jay reads from the book.
I can't go on.
Oh, brother.
You must go on.
May rolls her eyes.
I will. Do you think about the end a lot?
What end? Like the end of your stupid book? I can't go on. You must go on. I will. Tell me, wise one, who's that saying, you must go on?
I can't say. The unnameable.
That was a good joke. Interior, Russian Orthodox Church, rec room, night. And at 12 hits balls around a pool table, making note in her lab book of the balls' trajectories. Porchenko grabs the cue ball just before she strikes it.
Jesus says the time is nigh. The kingdom must be built now. We need the savior scientist to shepherd humana.
Preaching to the choir, dude.
The savior will be a scientist.
Of course. Who else?
A genius she will be.
Anna looks at Porchenko. He's impassioned.
She will not be gifted to us. We must create her. We must give birth to her.
Porchenko caresses Anna at 12's cheek, which is totally not creepy at all. His hand runs down her shoulder, her arm. He grabs her hand, kisses it. The door opens. It's Kasparov.
Come here.
Anna at 12 walks to her father. Kasparov sneers at Porchenko.
You've been helpful, Father. But we don't need your tutoring anymore.
Porchenko studies the cue ball as Kasparov yanks Anna away. Interior, Anna's home. Day. Anna at 12 comes home from school. The computer in the living room plays a video of Anna and her father singing an old Ukrainian folk song. She smiles.
I'm home.
Anna at 12 turns the corner to the kitchen to find her father face down in a pool of blood.
Oh no!
The back of his head bashed. That was
no!
sudden. Anna at 12 was just about to scream, but the doorbell rings and she holds it in. She turns in fear.
It's Father Porchenko!
Anna at 12 runs to the door and throws it open.
What's wrong?
Porchenko runs inside the house and looks around. Porchenko discovers the body of Kasparov and checks for a pulse while looking around the body for something.
He's dead. They killed him. We have to get you to a safe place.
Who killed him?
While Anna at 12 is distracted, Porchenko picks up a bloody white billiard ball near the body.
The KGB. We have to get you to the room to protect you.
The doorbell rings again.
Uh-oh.
Porchenko puts the billiard ball down on the floor surreptitiously.
Who is it?
I'm raising money for a trip to the Large Hadron Collider. Off screen.
The particle accelerator. Go away.
Porchenko picks up the cue ball again because he doesn't know how evidence works. Exterior, Chicago streets, day. Porchenko pulls Anna at 12, still in shock, along hurriedly. Interior, Russian Orthodox Church, day. Porchenko pulls Anna at 12 along through the church. Interior, the room beyond time, day, but we still can't tell how. Porchenko sits with Anna at 12 on the bed in the room.
You will stay here from now on. I will protect you from KGB.
Why would they kill my father?
It is you they want, my dear. You will give birth to the scientist savior of this terrible plane of existence.
This person does not understand a soft sell. Anna stares blankly, then looks at the door to the room. It is locked from the inside. Porchenko forces her to a hug, which is still not creepy at all.
This is your destiny, to live in this room that exists beyond time and to save us all. Do you believe?
Wow. Anna glanced at the clock.
Tell me you believe.
I believe.
Good enough. Good enough.
He kisses Anna on the face. She does not respond. All right. Interior, Jay's home, day. Jay at 12 comes home, counting his money from selling candy bars. Mr. Lee is sitting in his work uniform.
I saw your report card. You got a B.
It was a B plus. I'll do better. Have a responsibility to the family.
Mr. Lee puts his belt back around his pant waist.
That got dark.
Dive bar. Dude, did you see what that priest was up to?
I think the priest was fine. All right, let's finish the page before we give notes.
Dive bar / nightclub / night years later. Split screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. Between Anna and Jay. Anna at 23, who knows suicide blonde, probably Ukrainian, struts through the streets, but she's in a dive bar somehow. The street inside the dive bar, dressed sexily, people stare. Jay, 23, tall and solidly built, a sadness sometimes haunting his eyes, pulls a comb through his conservative hair in the middle of the nightclub.
I mean, that happens.
Wait, is Jay in the nightclub?
No, I screwed this up. Yeah, it's reversed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay is supposed to be in the dive bar.
Table at the dive bar.
Okay.
He knocks ball after ball in. There's only the 8 ball left. Yes, it looks peculiar. Lorena, 30, full-figured, offers him a vape pipe featuring a marijuana emblem.
I say nope. To dope.
That's fucking loud.
You're lost, roomie. See you at home.
Lorraine walks away. Anna dances at the nightclub. So she was on the street inside a nightclub.
Yes. I don't know.
Youth on drugs surround her. Hungry men dancing ever closer. She sees a likable man. Jay examines the 8 ball. On one side it says yes. On the other it says no. It's an 8 ball. Is that okay?
You can do
You
that.
know how Magic 8 Ball works? In between these two words is printed the 8. He puts it down with the 8 facing up. He hits the 8 ball with the cue. It knocks around the corner pocket and rolls out. The ball slows to a stop. No, it says, with the word perfectly facing upwards.
All right, 10 pages. That's how much we read.
All right, that's a good mystery.
Okay. All right. Oh, hello. Well, it was a good thing we hadn't yet read Chromatic Beetlejuice Algorithm.
Hello.
Welcome, Mario.
Welcome.
We'll be looking at your story next.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I know it's been a while. Time zone
right.
issues.
That's quite all right. So you're still in Japan?
Yeah, I went back to the States for a little bit to visit family. Then I came back.
How was Japan?
Japan was pretty good. It's still pretty nice. Summer's hot here, though.
It's what I've heard. All right, so let's take a look at Erwin's thing. So, I think first off, I want to say that the script is well formatted. You clearly have a good understanding of how screenplays should go and how the direction should be and all that. The dialogue between the characters seems fine. Pachinko is very dramatic, but of course he does seem to have an understanding of time and space, which is beyond that of an ordinary human. So he has a sense of the thing beyond the thing and why this thing is particularly important and why you must go be the savior of humanity. And that is, of course, a very heavy responsibility to lay on Anna at 6 or 12, but whichever. So we've definitely, I want to see where that goes. I rather like Pachinko. It's a shame about Anna's dad, and I think that was Anna's dad or whoever died. Yeah.
Kasparov, yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoyed his reading of Goodnight Moon. And look, you can't trust the KGB in any dimension, I think, is the overall message here. And I applaud you for sending that loud and clear. All right, Dan, what you got?
I don't really know what's going on, but everything seems very intense and mysterious. So that's really cool. The Room Beyond Time is sort of neat. Everyone seems to be a super scientist at 6 years old. I'm a hundo P behind that. I have no idea what sort of world this is set in, which makes it very difficult to understand. I
think we're just doing good stuff right now.
Yeah. The world that you have created is interesting, although I would like to see more context on it. And the characters seem like they are probably worth following.
All right, John.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting opening. They, in screenplays, they say that the first 10 minutes is like the hook, and I think you definitely got something here. This is a very it had a bit of a feeling of Interstellar, and I know a lot of people hated on that movie, but I didn't think it was all that bad. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And so yeah, it was kind of cool and very interesting, and it's definitely I love a good high concept science fiction, and I definitely kind of feel like you're going there. I think Preston probably knows more about the sciencey stuff, but the sciencey stuff sounded to me as a non-sciencey person to be well balanced between real science and science fiction. So to me, it felt like it was pretty well grounded. As somebody with probably a 10th grade science understanding. So I think in that regard, yeah, I think that was pretty cool. You had the right buzzwords, I guess we'll say. You had the right buzzwords that made it sound like it was well grounded. So yeah, and the characters were very interesting.
Cool. Thanks.
Do we have any ideas how this story could be improved? All right, yeah, I'll just throw that out, just general observation.
Yeah, I would love a little bit more situation as to what is going on outside, the church location and people's houses, because it's
I do feel
what kind of world this is. There's gunshots on the street, but everyone lives a perfectly normal suburban existence.
The whole world is basically being told through Porchinko. Like he's like, oh no, it's the KGB. Like we have no idea how the KGB or the Soviets are involved. I'm not even exactly sure.
Yeah, like is this our world? If so, when does this happen? If not, then what makes this world so different aside from the fact that there's a room beyond time underneath this church in Chicago? So knowing whether or not this is our world but extra or its own independent thing early on makes it easier for one to suspend one's disbelief, and actually will help, I think, sell your story because you've got sufficient weirdness that is not your problem.
I was gonna say maybe if it's based in our world or a parallel dimension of it, you can always do the thing of like it's one of those secret like government experiments. Like they finally found a room beyond time, they can't harness it, and that's why the KGB's after him. He knows too much.
Out of curiosity, Mario, were you able to hear much of the story?
I was able to hear about half of that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Mario's notes count for half. Just like.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
The second half, yeah. And I was going to ask, the room beyond time, did it have a description? Because if so, I missed it, and it felt like the surrealist room that they had in Spy Kids, where the lighting of night and day just kind of changed based on whoever was in the room or what they were feeling at the time.
I'm gonna have to watch Spy Kids. Yeah, there was
I actually had I had a bit of a comment about that actually. So first, I want to kind of echo Danny's point about the time and the setting, because I was very confused by that. Because when it started, I felt like this was maybe early to mid 20th century. Like these were all Russian immigrants escaping, the communist takeover of Russia, and they were all like refugees living in America. That was the way it felt in the beginning, especially.
It felt that way to me too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the way they were at the church and the way the girl was talking and her father. And then the next thing I know, they're doing modern science, and then she's texting on a cell phone, and I got really confused. And I'm like, okay, when is this story?
I think, like I was about to say, I think, what do y'all think about an establishing shot, exterior the church, showing that it is modern times, people walking around. It's kind of
those are the great things about
Chicago.
Establishing shots.
What's that?
That's why we use establishing shots. Is because they
right
these things.
Right. When he told me to cut 100,
hold on,
20, 30 pages off the script, a lot of things got jumbled up. So yeah.
So keep in mind, and again, this is the difference between screenplays and comics. In a comic, you can just do a slug or a caption that says what the date is, or today, or the not too distant future.
You can do that in a screenplay too.
You can.
Yeah, like Chicago. 2022.
Right.
Or Chicago 3022, and Anna 6 is actually the name of a robot. It doesn't matter. Just like let us know, and then we can accept all kinds of shenanigans. Like, I'm okay with an alternate world where the Soviet Union never fell, but also Goodnight Moon exists. That's not that different of a world, really, and that still works. You got to tell us if something's different. And so that's, the KGB isn't really a thing because the Soviet Union isn't a thing right now. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Right?
Let's put this.
They're called something else.
Yeah, they're called something else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the organization doesn't exist. Like, they're just called something else now. But, like, that means this has got to be pre-1989.
Right.
Right. But they have cell phones. So it's very confusing.
I mean, they had
I should call it I should maybe use another name.
So, although there's a room out of time, there's a degree to which your whole universe seems to be out of time, which we hope you will amend in the next episode.
So I had a comment about the room, and this could change, but I was very confused. Like, okay, he walks into this nondescript room, and the first thing he does is start playing with a clock, and I'm like, I walk into one, you didn't describe the room at all. He walks in the room and we see a clock. And now, if it's a normal room, so I kind of want to know, what's this room look like when he walks into it? Does he walks into a child's bedroom? He walks into a teenager's bedroom. You know, like, how do we know this is a room without time besides your slug line? Like, he just walks into the room and starts playing with a clock. I walk into a room, the first thing I don't do is start playing with a clock. So that was a little weird, like that. And then after he's playing with the clock, then you describe other parts of the room, and
Which
I kind of feel like
a picture of a beautiful woman that's really important to him. That, you know,
well, it's a portrait of a 16-year-old girl who he just met the 6-year-old version of, and how does he know that they're the same? Because he know they're the same? Right.
He doesn't.
So
no.
Yeah.
So again, that's where I think a better description of what that room looks like, and then yes, it's a weird room, but I'd also like to know, what does it mean to be a room without time, and how does he know what that means? And I would like that developed a little bit more, because I feel like that's going to end up becoming a major plot point, and I found it very, very confusing. And then the last point I wanted to make, which was, again, not going to be an issue if you convert this to a comic, but your split screen scene was improperly written for a screenplay. And my recommendation, if you keep it as a screenplay, is just write the scenes that they are, and you can put in parentheses that it's a split screen. So you could do one slug line, parentheses, left split screen, describe the scene, then do your bottom slug line, parentheses, right split screen, then describe that scene, and then when it's no longer split screen, then do a slug where it's end split screen or something like that. Just clear it up, because it got very confusing, and keep in mind that most likely your director and your editor are going to change that anyway, unless you are the director or the editor.
Right. I know there's a thematic thing.
I got you. I got you. I'm just
the thematic thing was not the problem. There, that sold.
It was a little confusing, but that's, like I said, that's probably going to end up not being an issue, because once you do it as a comic, you're just going to write the panels, and that'll fix your problem. So I don't think that it wasn't a major thing, but that was just a side note that I wanted to throw out there. But anyway, I'm good.
I thought that the room was pretty well described. Okay, first of all, now tell me if this makes sense to you. The reason why he was so focused on the clock is because he heard ticking. He opens the door and he sees the clock.
I understand that, but as me as the reader, I can only see what you show on the page, and what you show. The order that you wrote that scene was: he walks in the room, he looks at the clock. As far as I knew, it was an empty room with a clock on the wall. That was my first vision, was empty room with clock.
Yeah, this universe, who knows how physics work when you're beyond time and space, and time can run backwards, and Porchinko has access to a room beyond time and space. But if we're just talking about ordinary physics, I'm wondering, how can he hear a clock travel that far? Like, if he's up in the church proper, in that main auditorium, and there's a clock ticking in the labyrinthian basement, how does he know? But
maybe it's a telltale clock.
It could. He could have a very special relationship with this clock in this room. And that's that's what I was assuming, was he had a very special relationship with the clock.
Except it seemed like he entered the room for the first time in that scene.
Pardon?
Right.
What's that?
The scene with the clock seems to be when Porchenko enters the room for the first time.
Right.
So he clearly doesn't have a relationship with it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so confused and chasing the ticking.
Yeah,
right, it just started ticking out of nowhere.
Like,
I would almost write the scene where he hears the ticking and he's like, "What's this ticking?" And then he's walking through and like, "Oh my God, where is this coming from?" And then he goes down, he goes to the labyrinth, he finds the door, he opens the door, he goes into the room and he looks around the room, and I'm like, why the hell is this 16-year-old girl's bedroom here? And then the clock ticks again. He's like, there's that ticking clock, that kind of thing where we gradually enter the room and we gradually experience the room. Then you can have that tick happen again, and that'll draw us back to the clock.
Also, why is there a 16-year-old girl's bedroom in the basement of this church is a real question your story doesn't answer.
Right.
It seems to be more of a mystery than the clock being off by a minute. FYI.
Yeah.
That is true. Like,
someone needs to say that.
And again, like, the clock's off by a minute. Who cares? Like, that's where I was really lost. Like, again, like, when my first thought was like the Matrix. Like, when they go into the construct and it's that big white room. I mean, quite literally, when you said the room without time, that was my vision was the big white room in the Matrix. Except instead of a red leather chair, it's a clock on the wall. So of course you're like, okay, I'm in this big white empty room. This room is weird, and there's a clock here. What, WTF is with this clock? That's and maybe that'll be even more interesting because now he's like, what the frick is this clock doing here? Now of course you may not, if you decide to go without walls because it's a room without time, you can make up like a grandfather clock, and then it could be ticking, and then he could notice that it's off by 15 minutes or an hour, and then he might go up and be like, play with it or something, or maybe it dongs on him and he's like, oh, it's off by a few minutes.
Okay.
I mean, my guess was with him playing with the
moose.
So my guess was with him playing with the clock was he's actually playing with time. That was my guess. I think that might be what you were doing. Like when he was trying to reset the clock, he's turned the handle back, and that's what turned back time. That was another thing that it sounded like you were doing, which is a cool idea if that's what you were going for. I mean, don't we all wish we had a magic clock that we could just set it to whatever time we want, and all of a sudden we're in that time again?
Yeah, no, I need to clarify that paragraph, I guess. Yeah, he didn't actually change the time on the clock. He changed his own watch. He changed the time on his own watch, and he didn't change the time on his own watch. The time on his own watch changed
when he changed the clock.
Yeah, I guess my notes would be that you are setting up some things that will need a payoff. Otherwise, you're going to need to rewrite some things. Like, how does he know that clock is ticking? Why is the KGB around at the same time for cell phones? All this other stuff. So.
Right. I need to get rid of the KGB.
Yeah.
I need to because it's not.
Crap forever at 16 years of age.
I need to not call it the KGB because I think people are going to be confused. So
yes, definitely. Also, Kasparov has this cool line of, because everyone's talking about super science Einstein-y stuff, and he's like, how am I supposed to know I make donuts? And then in the next scene, he's explaining the double slit experiment. I'm like, well, you set up this identity and then you kind of abandon it immediately.
No, that's Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee makes donuts.
I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. All right. You're right. Okay. I got thrown off on that one. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Are we ready for chromatic Beetlejuice algorithm?
Yo, let's go.
Go.
Okay.
Whether Mario likes it or not, he's already submitted it.
Tell us about chromatic Beetlejuice algorithm. So
I know. I take forever to send these. I know. So in this version we're doing, we have I reworked the underground casino that kind of sets the payoff up for the money match going down, and that leads to a couple of other people getting involved in this much bigger mystery of who's dealing the drugs and sending the shipments around the cyberpunk future with lots of violence. I did watch the old video from a couple months ago, and I did rework the pacing and that quite a bit.
Okay.
I'm excited
So
to see what you do.
I'm seeing that this is chapter 4. When is chapter 1 going to get released?
When he's happy with it, leave him alone.
No, I gotta remember there was one comic where they literally spent the entire time writing the whole thing out, and then when they finished, then they just drew all of it basically at once and then pushed it out. That's what my plan was.
The response you got to come back with is Lucas started with chapter 4. Sit down.
I will remember that.
That's a response. I mean, knowing that you're going to stick the landing is a real thing. I did that with my first project.
Yeah.
I scripted the whole thing out before I started any production, and I'm glad I did.
Always helps. All right. Page 1, panel 1, interior underground casino night. The blues. Oh wait. Okay, Mario. Who's narrating?
I guess I can narrate.
Go for it.
Don't let him narrate his own shit.
Okay, Mario.
I'll narrate it.
All right, go, John.
I'll give Danny a break.
Thank you.
All right, page 1, 6 panels. Panel 1, interior underground casino night. The blue smoky casino has several people surrounding the usual casino games. One the side. There is a betting window with a large TV showing a boxing match above it. Panel 2, at the betting window, a disheveled, grumpy man at the window. He shifts his eyes nervously. The female teller looks very disinterested.
Who do you want to place your bets on?
1,330,000 yen against Moita tomorrow night.
Panel 3, at a card game table, a suited female android leans over the table. She rakes in her winning casino chips. They let androids like play blackjack? Isn't that like counting cards?
By the way, just you have a capitalization error. It should be comma a suited lowercase, and that's fine. But as a former poker player, when you go at a card game table, comma ace, I'm like suited aces, ace what suited? Ace king said like ace suited female android. I'm like a suited. Oh, that's not an ace. Okay, never mind. All right. So
probably have to
maybe she has a giant ace on her chest.
It could be. You lose. And as we agreed, it was double or bust.
So is the female android the woman?
Yeah. So probably just keep it consistent. Either woman, or android. Should we do it like
just
that?
say female android.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, that's how you describe her. So that's how I would put her line.
All right.
Panel 4, the dealer, Aster Helix, glares at her a tad annoyed. He has white and blue lights on his augmented hands, and his teal hair is gelled back.
You got some girl, I'll give you that.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
Sorry, you do it, Danny.
I hope you aren't taking this personally.
It comes with the gig. Just don't spend it all in one place.
Panel 5.
Oh well, hold on. I got a quick question for Mario here. So is this like blackjack? So the equivalent of like where I'm playing a game, and like the dealer represents the house, and I beat the dealer for. I mean, but why would the dealer be resentful? I mean, the dealer doesn't care. I mean, just as someone who gambles, if you win, the dealer is happy for you because the dealer. In part, the dealer likes it when people win because they feel bad when they just sit there and just constantly take money from good, seemingly innocent people for this faceless corporation so they can make a buck.
The dealer gets big tips when they win,
and also the dealer gets big tips when they win. So I don't, I just want to say like you're setting up a relationship which I as a gambler would not expect. I as the gambler would expect the dealer to be happy that the player won. So.
Yeah, I would also say, tell us what game they're playing, because they playing poker? Or are they playing blackjack? It's a little.
All right,
that helps. That helps explain the scene to your artist. Panel 5: the female android woman walks away gleefully with her chips on her left ear. A small but suspicious orange light blinks.
Well, I'll be off to the slot machines then.
Page 2, panel 1. Helix reaches under the table, and a small blue light begins to glow.
Think you can pull a fast one on me, do you?
Panel 2, Helix stands up. A cocky smile spreads across his face.
In case no one told you. Wait, is he actually talking, or is he still thinking?
We're about to find out.
Okay. And now is this also still the woman-female android who is the lady?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that consistent.
So the woman-female android lady, filled with fear, begins to run. Her winnings still in her hands. A blue blur follows her.
There's no copy.
Oh, panel 4. Helix raises his hand, signaling for assistance.
See, no copy is a real thing. Cheaters will be removed.
What would you expect from an android? Panel 5. Well, I mean, if an android walks up to a blackjack table, I mean, like, obviously what she's doing.
Yeah.
The woman's head flies off, severed by jagged electric blue sickles. Cut wires show at the neck and oil sprays across the panel. Her winnings begin to fall to the floor.
Permanently.
I will rework that android to just regular person.
The house always wins.
Because that also would make is that the difference between murder, or is it just damaging somebody's private property?
And unfortunately, who wants to gamble a place where you might get murdered?
And who wants to gamble at a place against an android that's obviously counting cards?
Yeah.
So, page 3, panel 1. At the betting window, the man snags his claim ticket from the teller's hand.
You are aware of the odds, right?
Yeah, I know.
So it's a gangster's casino. All right,
Yeah.
I could dig it. Panel 2, he walks guarding his ticket defensively.
All she has to do is lose the match tomorrow, and all my problems are literally gone overnight.
Literally.
Panel 3, he walks out, not noticing 2 of the casino men dragging out the android's body. The casino men don blue bomber jackets with an ice motif.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oil squirts from the neck. Panel 4, back at the table, Helix stands there with his arms facing out. The sickle floats towards his hand. 2 of the casino men, Mr. Moon and Mr. Saturn. Helix's face is covered in a bit of oil while Mr. Moon wears shades.
Add another cheater, you know the drill. They'll resell the good parts and harvest any organs. No, she's not an android. She's a cyborg, you liar.
Then we need to describe it that way.
Yeah, I couldn't decide on that. I was just bouncing back and forth. But yeah, Cyborg's the safest bet.
Cyborg, augmented human. You know, she's a human with augments. You know, augmented arm, augmented this. You know, whatever.
Definitely not an android.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Panel 5, Helix shoots them a menacing glare and pulls a cigar out from his jacket.
You missed, didn't you?
Oh, no. We didn't miss. The other 2 did. Before Combs went dead, they mentioned something about a cop getting involved.
We need to get Erwin reading something soon.
Page 4, panel 1, Helix sits back down in his chair, thinking for a moment.
It's safe to assume the authorities are going to be having a field day with this. Either way, we'll need to try again to take her out, and anyone else who tried to get involved. Wait, so he doesn't like the authorities, but he just murdered someone in his own property.
And why is basically the gangster owner of this casino dealing cards?
Yeah, there is that.
Because in the upcoming line, it's because he mentions like he worked for someone higher than him. I think it would be a better way to establish that hierarchy in dialogue, maybe.
I just don't understand why the boss is dealing cards. Panel 2,
And also
close-up.
murdering people.
Murdering people. Like, that's what you have lackeys for. Panel 2, close-up. Helix narrows his eyes and inhales a cigar through his teeth, knowing that what he has to do. So I guess he's no longer dealing cards. Now he's just smoking his cigar like the evil villain he is.
Mario, I do have a question. Is this like, are there other people in this casino? Like players?
There's that other guy who's like betting on.
Because the thing is, when I saw the video last time, I had this and the betting scene as 2 different scenes. And you told me, make the casino grungy, make it like really dark, make it a point where people are so desperate they don't care about the violence going on in the back that they just still.
Then you should at least show me other people not caring. I at least want to see that.
No, I thought I tried. I tried to establish that with the scene of the guy holding on the ticket, not noticing them taking out the bloody corpse.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You did that. Okay, never mind.
I could have like a one panel shot, like everyone just not giving a shit. I can
I
add that
think
in
the
there.
word that's throwing us off here is casino. And
Yeah.
what the setting
Okay.
actually is a warehouse gambling den.
Yeah.
Okay, gambling den. Okay, gambling
The
den.
casino is an official building that's
Yeah.
usually licensed. It has big flashy lights
Yeah.
and dancing girls with sparkly things on their boots.
Yeah. Like cocktail waitresses walking around who would be like, "Oh, a client got decapitated. Never mind." Like you do.
All right, then gambling den. I will remember that.
I'll
term.
inform Jericho after tomorrow's fight. Luckily
Yeah.
for us, it's going to be a good one. That Moita girl seems to have everyone making bets for and against her. Sure.
Panel 3. A female server pours him a glass of liquor. Helix raises the scythe as a threat.
He's threatening his employees. What a shit.
What a dick. Nothing makes this guy happy. All right.
So tomorrow, you two will get your asses to the Golden Wing Exhibition Hall, pick up any losing bets for Moita. You won't mess up this time. And I'll be there to make sure of it. Why doesn't he fucking do it himself?
Again, worst boss ever.
I think
What a goddamn micromanaging prick.
Well, Mario, I have to say we are 4 pages into this, and everyone hates your villain, which is what villains are for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Micromanaging violent asshole, not for normal bad villain reasons. He's just like a terrible person.
He's both a villain and a bad person. Yes.
Oh, Mario, maybe I'll have you write my villain.
There you go.
All right.
Panel 4, interior interrogation room. Mitsuha stands into Fubuki's face, her hands balled up into fists, wanting to know who gave her the drug shipment. Fubuki is visibly stressed out from the events of the prior issue.
All right, Erwin, I want you to voice Mitsuha.
Erwin needs to unmute himself first.
Uh-oh, never mind.
Of course, give the Asian guy the Asian character's lines.
There you go. Erwin, are you with us?
Oh, you're muted. Muted. You are unmute yourself.
Nope, gotta click it once, not twice.
Yeah, once.
All right.
There you go.
Give me a name, and you'll be given protection, like we agreed to earlier.
Page 5, panel 1. Fubuki begins to sweat bullets. She shakes her head violently.
I can't.
You can't, or you won't.
Panel 2. Fubuki looks at the floor, avoiding eye contact.
Aster Helix. He goes by Aster Helix, and he's a real dick.
I should actually add that in there.
Yeah.
Panel 3. Fubuki lets out a loud gulp. Sound effect. Gulp. Panel 4. In the background, Nobuya comes in with a portable computer deck, ready to take the statement.
What kind of name is Aster Helix?
Panel 5. Interior junk fighter boxing ring. Wide shot. Surrounded by cheering fans are in a frenzy surrounding the ring. Announcer, the fight is... Oh, sorry. Who's going to be the announcer?
No.
I'll do it, whatever. This fight is really getting the crowd pumped. I don't think anyone could imagine this going to round 5. Panel 6, in the corner. Hitomi Miyota is being hyped up by the Water Boys and her coach. Hitomi is short-haired, tanned, and augmented woman. See, that's how you describe an augment. She is wearing a set of green sports bra and shorts.
Remember, round 5. Take the fall, but make it convincing.
And if I don't?
There'll be hell to pay.
Ding, ding. Page 6. Panel 1. Hitomi begins to swing at her opponent, an augmented female with a side shave and blue boxing outfit. Panel 2. In the front row, Helix is sitting next an empty seat.
Good job.
Come on. Where are you, Jericho?
Didn't mean to keep you waiting.
Panel 3. Jericho sits next to the mortified Helix, arm wrapped around him. Jericho has a few remaining burn marks on his face left from the fire in issue 1.
Oh, is he the Terminator we set on fire in issue 1?
Yep, and that's his boss.
There you go.
Cool. All right.
That's why he's such an antsy dick. Like, I can't fuck up.
That actually almost works. Way to go. I need to talk to you about the hit. Something's gone wrong.
Hold on until the fight's over. I need a few minutes.
Panel 4, the blue fighter falls to the floor and Hitomi begins to wail on her opponent's face.
That seems like it would be hard to draw.
Panel 5, close up. The blue fighter taps her arm out, forfeiting the match. Panel 6, Hitomi, her tan brown skin is sweaty, has her arm pulled back by the referee. Winner by tap out is... Page 7, panel 1. Hitomi's face has a look of smug satisfaction as she looks around the frenzy-filled arena. Hitomi Miyota!
Hitomi Miyota. Hitomi. There we go. Sorry.
Panel 2, back from the back of her head. It explodes. Hitomi turns to her.
Aster cuts her head off and said, "Serves you right, man."
Hitomi turns her head to the right. She sees Mitsuha and Dave both cheering her on and a huge VIP pass around their neck. That RP actually say VIP in fat letters. That. Oh, anyway. Panel 3, the casino can see the match on the large screen, erupting into applause. The indebted man is on his knees, eyes and mouth widened in horror.
No, no, no!
Panel 4, Hitomi is now wearing standard tracksuit. The jacket is
Mario,
open, still showing her.
I mean, I do have to say that John is correct here. You're throwing in a few passives. I don't know why. You know why not? Hitomi wears a standard tracksuit instead of Hitomi is wearing. Yeah, Hitomi wears
a standard tracksuit. The jacket hangs open, showing her sports bra from earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, this is bad habits that I've got.
Yes, you got to get rid of that. It's not good.
I know.
She closes and locks the door to her room.
Can't wait to get home.
Panel 5. From behind, the indebted man from the previous page approaches Hitomi armed with a butterfly knife as she begins to turn around.
So he teleported there from the casino, which is a different location.
I guess so.
Maybe
he's got magic powers.
You know what?
Figure out a way to establish passing the time, but I know when it's interior, you typically don't usually put the day or night. Maybe a shot of a clock or something could help.
There you go.
You could also have somebody in there saying, great fight yesterday. Panel 6, the passerby cups Hitomi's mouth as he slams her against the door, knife pressed against her neck. Bam!
You took everything from me.
Page 8. Panel 1, Hitomi, shocked and surprised, has a confused expression on her face.
I don't even know you.
I'm broke because of you. All you had to do was lose.
Panel 2, Hitomi knees him in the stomach.
Take that, loser.
Hunches back a bit, still holding the knife. Panel 3, Hitomi begins to run away, and the man follows her. I mean, she's a fighter. Why didn't she just fight him? Panel 4,
well,
he
lunges.
lunges.
Have a knife. He has a knife.
The first rule of
But
knife
I've seen plenty of movies where dude fights somebody with a knife and is fine.
This is not that movie.
Panel 4, he lunges at her with crazed eyes and grabs her right leg. Hitomi falls, but still hasn't stabbed her. Panel 5, Hitomi tries to kick him off with no success.
Let go of me. It's your fault you bet for a loser.
Panel 6, he slices her leg with the knife, exposing wires. Oil begins to drip from the cut.
I feel like this should be called Violence Against Android instead of Chromatic Beetlejuice Android. Or
Well,
violence
they're
against cyborg. Bad
Hey,
things
they're
happening.
all-
in
this
life.
was a book about someone waiting for their date to show up to have sushi, because
Yeah.
this is much better.
Yeah, exactly.
Though honestly, if she's okay, I actually forgot she was augmented. Okay, so if she's augmented and this dude comes at her with a knife, does she not have an augmented arm that she can basically block the knife? Like I'm
Unfortunately, the art director was non-specific about how she was augmented, so apparently not.
which was going to be one of my notes to make for later. Panel 7, the raccoon-eyed man then hold. Okay, so he's got raccoon eyes. Wow, that's an augment I wasn't expecting.
Like he's had raccoon eyes transplanted into his.
They got augments, so maybe he does.
They can
Who knows?
see all in the dark.
Well, now I can see in the dark, right?
Yeah.
The raccoon-eyed man then holds the knife in his fist and tries to slam it into Hitomi's neck. Hitomi struggles to push his arm back and barely keeps the knife from cutting her neck. Panel 8, in Deaded Man's POV, Hitomi's eyes are filled with panic as she feels the knife on her neck. That's a lot of panels on that page.
That's a lot of panels for a lot of
Yeah.
action, and it should be twice as many pages with this.
It should be, but I need just make sure you guys could cover that in the 10-page limit. I will space it out.
No
Oh,
cheaters.
cheating.
Don't do that.
Cheating.
No, cheat. All right. Okay,
Give
next
you
time.
lots of really good feedback for free. Don't be an ass.
Yeah.
All right.
Page 9, panel 1, wide shot. A bullet flies through his skull, causing brains and gray matter to fly across Hitomi's face.
Woo! Heads up.
Blam! Panel 2, Mr. Moon, sunglasses shining, keeps his aim on the body. His handgun lets out smoke.
Are you all right?
Panel 3, Hitomi is filled with terror, seeing the dead man lay on top of her.
What? Why did you shoot him?
He was trying to kill you, dumbass.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame for anything to happen to the up-and-coming prodigy and our prospective investments.
Panel 6, Hitomi is in a fighting stance, showing off her blood-stained clothes. Moon lowers his gun as a devilish grin comes across his face. So she was laying on the ground, then she stood up and got into a fighting stance.
He was laying on the ground underneath a dead human/android.
Right. Well, as far as we know, he was all human. There was no.
raccoon eyes.
Right, raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. So yes. Anyway, sorry, Mr. Moon.
You act as if you've never met your sponsors before, and your sponsors are why you'll be protected. Even though I heard you were supposed to lose. Wait, she was supposed to. Did she lose the fight?
No, she won the fight. That's why the dude wanted to stab her.
The guy was bitching. She was supposed.
He bet
She was
against
supposed
her.
to take a dive.
Right. Yeah,
And,
that makes sense. Right.
Page 10. Panel 1. He steps back and begins to disappear from Hitomi's view.
Is he
So I guess his
magic? How is
augments
he
make
doing
him
that?
invisible. Panel 2. Hitomi has a sweaty, pained look on her face, overwhelmed by the past few moments.
Is this what Coach meant by hell to pay?
She got off easy. Panel 3. Hitomi slumps to her knees, adrenaline running low. In the distance, Mitsuha runs toward her. She has her revolver ready, and her VIP pass flies behind her.
What's going on? I heard a gunshot. Hitomi.
Panel 4. Mitsuha, now next to Hitomi, grabs her by the shoulder. She looks around.
I'm fine, but Mitsuha. Anybody?
Did you shoot him?
Panel 5. Mitsuha signals, come here, with her hand. Dave comes from where Mitsuha came, armed with a pipe wrench. Because that'll be useful.
Go ahead.
I'm ringing for backup. Until then, I'll be doing a perimeter scan. Let's get you back to your backstage room.
Panel 6. Dave circles around to Hitomi and sees the slashed up leg is barely hanging on. That was some hell of a knife. The area has black oil dripping and dangling wires. His face has a look of doubt, and his pipe wrench is at the ready.
Let's try to bandage it. One wrong step away from being a Kit Kat.
All right, there we go. 10 pages stuffed extra full of panels. I love the uber violence. We had 3 people die, and just died in just really graphic, blood splattery ways. and that is awesome. I want uber violence in my cyberpunk because that's how violent. Like the future should be violent. You have access to all this technology. If you want to hurt somebody, they should just go kapow. So nicely done. We had gambling. We had some. I'm probably going to get into this more in constructives, but I'll just say you subverted my expectations, because usually when the mob orders you to throw a fight or else, and they wager a lot of money on you, they're usually kind of unhappy when you don't do that. But in this case, the mob was amazingly forgiving, and hooray! So neat. All right, Danny, what'd you like about it?
The beginning, in the integration of the desperate gambling man with the underground casino worked a lot better for me and made his story much less distracting. Although, as I might say later in my constructives, it made evident a problem in your script writing for this issue. The action remained good. I think the pacing is, I mean, I don't know how many panels you tried to stuff into this in order to get us to read it all, but
it was just that one page with the 8 panels that could have been like 5 and 3 or 4 and 4.
There were a couple of transitions where it felt like you were trying to move too quick. I guess that's constructive. But like a whole bunch of stuff happens in not very many locations. So, that's pretty efficient. And you did bring back the evil Terminator, and you gave the guy who was waiting for his date for sushi something to do.
All right, Erwin.
I like Hitomi. She seems a little bit innocent. Like she doesn't doesn't really know how things work in this dirty world and such. And I'd like to see more of that. I don't know. Is she the main character, or?
Ritsu, I believe, is the main character.
Who's half robot. So I guess Mario did that wrong.
She is, or she isn't? I didn't quite get it.
She's tough as nails.
Oh, no. Mitsuha's the lead protagonist. In the other 3 issues, she was carrying it. So this is set up for 4, which will then kind of bounce back in the second half.
Wait, Hitomi was the fighter? Hitomi was awesome.
He was the fighter, yeah, but she's not the main character. But she will be somewhat important later.
Okay, well, I mean, I like her character. I'm rooting for her, and just like she stands out in this world. She's different, and I think people are attracted to the fish out of water story. A little bit. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
You got anything else to add, John?
Well, I know I missed the last couple times you brought this on, so I don't. The last thing I remember was something about an underground hospital in the sewer. So,
yep.
You'll have to forgive me that I don't know where we go from underground.
Based on these 10 pages that we just read, what do you think?
Yeah, I will agree with Erwin because I don't really remember the Hitsumi character. If this is our more or less introduction to her, it's very well done. She does make her a very interesting and likable character. And yeah, the casino scene was interesting, to say the least, and it was very. I think if you go with Danny's suggestion, I think the underground gangster gambling den thing, I think, will really, really pay off.
I think I just used the wrong word. I think I should have just used underground den. I don't know why I wrote casino when I meant the underground den.
I will also say, as a cyberpunk thing, having anyone doing sports is a bold move, and I'm 100% behind that. It makes your story better to add, sports to Cyberpunk. So good job there.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're doing a classic sport like they're just boxing. Like it's not some high tech,
It's
virtual
not like
reality thing, or they're not
weird
like having
thing
robots
that
fight.
is just punching dudes. That's actually really cool. You should Hundo P keep that.
Is this cyberpunk story set in like? Are people like dressed up like the future, or are they more dressed up like old timey clothes? And like, I mean, is it's kind of like a mixture of old timey stuff with?
This is like Back to the Future too.
Yeah, like that retro future, what they call it. Yeah. The 80s vision of what the future was supposed to look like. It still could look like that though.
If only.
Yeah, I think that would make it a little. I think that would be cool to have more to sort of remind us of the retro aspects of it.
For sure. I'll double down with that actually. Thanks.
It'll definitely make it stand out in the genre of cyberpunk if you go with that retro feel.
All right, constructives. So I feel like you were kind of maintaining the plot elements, now we're going to go to the underground hospital. So this is better, but I still feel like this mob, which kills cheaters, like you show us, like this person cheated at blackjack, they've got to die, but this other person was supposed to take a dive, and we told her, if you don't take a dive, we're gonna kill you. And then she didn't take a dive, and they lost a lot of money, and they're like, cool beans. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
So maybe replace the cheater with someone like trying to like steal the chips, probably, instead of.
No, you're gonna need to go beyond that because the audience has not experienced organized crime for the most part directly. We've only experienced it in movies, and in the movies we've seen, every time the mob fixes a fight and the fighter doesn't go down, the mob tries to kill that person. So you need to at least explain to us why this mob is different. While still maintaining that this mob is uber violent and dangerous, which seems to be your setting and your intention with them.
If Preston's done.
Yeah, go ahead.
So jumping off of that point with the logical inconsistencies, it seems like the coach, the indebted man, your cop, and fucking Dave, sorry, everyone but fucking Dave,
Wait, who's butt fucking Dave?
Yeah, I want to hear more about butt fucking Dave.
I mean, he was the guy who was waiting for his sushi that one time.
There you go, yeah.
So everyone gained the ability to teleport, and I don't know why anyone walks anywhere in this world, given that. And it's really confusing when people like suddenly show up to locations or leave locations, or like the coach says there'll be hell to pay that we never see him again, and like stuff like that. And I think slowing down a little bit of the storytelling to like either show time passing or maybe using the coach to do it, and figuring out like how far away the CD Underground Casino is from this like.
Why are they not in the same location? Why can't the boxing ring?
Because you don't murder people near the sports complex.
Well, it's an underground boxing ring. I think one of the slug lines said it was an underground boxing ring. Why can't the underground boxing ring be in the bad guys'
Why do they bother to have VIP passes?
Well, that would have been my next thing. Why are the cops going to the underground boxing ring?
So yeah, some logical inconsistencies seem to have developed is what we're drawing your attention to here. And that includes the fight scene with what's her name and the knife guy. And like, she's a fighter. Why doesn't she fight? She's got robot parts. Why isn't she being a robot? Is it a magic knife? Like, answer these questions, and it'll make everything better. Because then you're like, oh, this is a real threat, or like, I dropped this EMP bomb and you can't use your augments. Now you just have to fight me. And she's like, oh no, I don't know how to do that. All I have is magic robot leg.
which no longer works.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that would also weaken her ability to self-defense if an
Yeah.
EMP, if the dude chucks an EMP grenade in the locker room.
yeah,
And now,
all
and,
he has is
now her
magic
legs
robot.
don't work,
He'll
and
be
she's on
fine.
the ground and she's thrashing about. Oh noes.
Yeah.
I mean, he can threaten her.
Yeah.
All freaking day. So, if you lean into your concept more, it gives you these interesting opportunities, I think, to tell this story in a way that like makes it feel more cyberpunk, and also answers our questions before we ask them.
Mhm.
And I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I finished.
I want to know what augments Hitsumi has, and forgive me if this was explained earlier, but again, this is the beginning of issue 4, so I want to know what she's got. Just saying that she's got them isn't good enough. What is augmented? Is it her arm? Is it her leg? Does she have like improved reflexes?
Cyber booby,
I mean, what does she have? And I also want to know about this the person that she's fighting. Like, does this person have like big augments as well that makes them extremely tough? Like,
Mhm.
why is this fight that she's in a challenge for her, or is it super easy? Like those types of things I don't know, so it's kind of hard for me to gauge whether or not or feel for her in the fight. And then that also leads into the fight in the locker room. Is we just saw her win a fight and now she's losing a fight. And
Also, we saw her win a fight she was supposed to throw, so maybe she is way more powerful than her other opponent. Tell us that. She doesn't want to lose this fight because it's too embarrassing or whatever. Like, it's an opportunity to build the character.
Gotcha.
yeah. Or maybe she was offered a bribe to throw the fight and it's against her morality. And she's like, no, I'm not going to throw this fight because, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that would be that's typically the key to that type of story. Like, there's been a lot of stories written about fighters throwing fights or fighters deciding not to throw a fight, right? And typically,
Yeah.
the key is why they refuse to throw the fight, right?
Right.
So
And the consequences of it, which is what everybody else was talking about.
right. I mean that doesn't have to be the key to one story, I think, but there needs to be some. I think it would make the story much more interesting if there was a dramatic a decision to be made that has high stakes, right? Within the story for a character that we really care about, right?
Right.
I mean, like I watch Law and Order SVU, and I can't stand it most of the time. Like for it's like whatever, it's a 50-minute show, and 45 minutes of it is just them trying to catch some sex offender or something like that, and I really don't care much about it. And I come back to the show. In fact, I get really pissed off because it's kind of formulaic, what's that? I mean, so it's formulaic in a way that it kind of annoys me. Like, they always have to accuse a black man of doing something and then discover that he really didn't do it. It's like, so you kind of already know, but so now, but I come back to the show because of the 5 minutes in which typically something that really matters to one of the main characters happens, right? It's and so I'm willing to wade through 45 minutes of crap that I don't really care much about, that I've seen 100 times before, in order just to find out, did that blonde woman's did that blonde woman finally make up with her sister, and deal with all the drama with their father and stuff like that. So
they
yeah,
have soap operas, right? Soap
right,
operas deals with that family drama all the time without all of the. Never mind. I'm just
right,
messing with
right,
you.
I get you. I get you.
right. I mean, the soap operas, yeah, they do have that, but it's done so badly that that
That's why it was a
that I
joke,
don't
man.
really
It was
care.
just a joke.
Right. So, but yeah, I think within an action story, I think that there is room for stuff that's really personal to a character that we really like, and that will make me come back, to reading the comic book, and I typically won't remember what happened in the last issue, but I'll come back for the character and their ongoing personal struggle.
Gotcha.
All right. Anything else?
So my question for you is, John, especially since you're like kind of adamant about the two locations being together. I thought I probably should make it more clear that it was like an actual stadium where the fight was being had. Just how people place regular bets on regular fights. So what made you think the fight was happening underground at the casino? Sorry, at the underground dens.
No. I didn't think that it was. I was saying you should do that.
So have
I
the
don't
fight be
understand.
underground? Okay then.
Well, you called it an underground boxing ring. It was in your script.
Did I leave that in there? Oh, I thought if I left that slug in there, then I must have not changed.
There was a slug in there about it being an underground boxing ring or whatever, and that's why I was like, why is it a different location then? Just make it all one location. That would solve some of your teleportation issues, but then you'd have to explain why there's cops there.
Yeah, I'll make it just a regular old boxing ring. I'll fix that slug.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. We had some great stories. Glad to see everybody participating, and hopefully we'll have some more scripts next week.
I'll try to make it next week.
Good night.
Wow, this thing's weekly.
Yeah. It keeps us all writing. Otherwise we stagnate.
Exactly.
I mean, I wish I was writing more.
I also
partially now because this is back.
Yeah.
So
we got to start writing more.
We do, exactly.
Who's publishing?
I mean, I'm publishing. Danny's publishing.
What,
John's publishing. So Danny, John, and I are self-publishing on Kickstarter.
So does that mean that I have to wait until the Kickstarter is completed in order to get the work, to get the published work?
I don't understand your question.
You're publishing on Kickstarter. What does that mean?
I'll talk about that off air.
Okay. All right.
I mean, in general, I'll explain on it. Fine. You make a comic book. You go on Kickstarter. You say, "Here's my comic book." People buy it. And then you take it to comic book shows, and people like you come up and go, "Oh, hey, a comic book," and hopefully you pay money for it, and there you go. It's publishing.
Oh, okay. Okay,
But
so you buy it through Kickstarter.
Yeah, the Kickstarter is just like eBay. I also sell it on eBay, and there are avenues which you can sell your creations, and this writing workshop is here to try and help you improve the writing that goes into your creative process so that your end product is better.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. I just didn't know that people were publishing like regularly on Kickstarter. Like,
oh yeah.
Like
I've made 12 comics. I'm about to start writing 13. Actually, I'm about to start writing 14. 13's already done. So
I'm getting ready to launch my 4th Kickstarter now.
Yeah, I'm working on like 9 and 10 right now.
Yeah. So
wow, it's interesting. I'm gonna have to check out.
Step up, brother.
Kickstarter.
There you go. Exactly.
I mean,
this is where it's at.
Yeah, y'all should post your links or whatever Kickstarter.
Well, you're in the Discord.
Yeah.
We do this periodically.
I think it's in like the shop section.
It's in the shop section, yes, indeed. Go to the shop section. You'll see all our stuff.
Okay, I will do that then. Yeah,
Awesome.
I was just curious what y'all were doing.
There you go. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Night.
All right. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you.
Everybody.